These might be the best e-bikes you can get as a tall person. What's up everybody, Corey with Freaky Tall Reviews here, and today we are checking out these two e-bikes by Day 6. At 6'10" and 340 pounds, it's really hard to find a good e-bike that's going to fit, and I think these might be the perfect ones, so let's get into it. One quick disclaimer, in a lot of the footage of me riding the bike, I'm not wearing a helmet. Now, that is not acceptable, right? Do not ride any of these bikes or any bike at any time without a helmet, and do not do what I am doing. I had a helmet that fit my size 8 head, but it broke recently and I wanted to get started on this video, so I did kind of jump ahead a little bit and get started on riding. But just know, don't ride without a helmet. Before we get started, it is a really hot and humid day here in Texas, so forgive the sweat, you're just gonna have to deal with it. But starting out, I wanna talk through the ergonomics and why it's such a good fit for tall people, and then why the motors are even better fit for tall people. Now, immediately starting out, what you're gonna notice is that the frame of this bike is probably unlike any other you've ever seen. It's like some kind of weird hybrid step-through beach cruiser type of feel, but that's actually why it works so well for a big and tall person, and I'll show you why. Now, we'll talk through the differences of these two bikes in just a little bit, but the main thing is that they both have the exact same frame. But the reason that that's so important is because as a really big and tall person, a lot of times we have joint pain and issues with our bodies, so being able just to lightly step into it like this and sit down is such a killer design. And as you notice, with a 38-inch inseam and 6'10", this bike actually looks proportionate to me. Now, the tires might look a little small, and Day 6 does have some bigger tire versions coming out in the future, but honestly, once you sit on this and you see how you're sitting in the middle of the bike, you'll feel very stable and secure. And that's one thing to think about, is a lot of times on a bicycle you can feel really top heavy, but that's what I really like about these Day 6 bikes, is the fact that you actually sit into the middle of the bike and it gives you a really nice weight and balance ratio as you're riding. Now, one really cool thing to note is that even though this bike looks really unique, almost all of the parts on it can be found at a local bike shop. So almost any bike shop can actually work on the bike with no issue at all. The only two things that are proprietary to Day 6 is the design of the frame, as well as the way the seat post here has these additional supports. Now, this is really important because when you weigh over 300 pounds like myself, you need additional support that's not just reliant on this seat post, and that's what this bike does a really good job of. Not only are these bolted to the actual frame for additional support for weight capacity, but also you can raise or lower them to tilt the seat, which is really nice. So if you want it to kind of lean back so you sit back into the backrest, you can do that, or if you want it to kind of tilt forward so that you're not having to fully get up on the seat, you can do that too. Totally customizable. Another thing to appreciate, in addition to the actual step through and ergonomics of this, is also having a backrest. You'd be surprised at how nice it is to actually sit back and lean into a bike when you're riding it, instead of like a mountain bike where you're putting your weight on the handlebars or something like that. You can just sit here and cruise, and it makes it so comfortable for longer riding durations. Also, these Day 6 bikes come with a wider seat, which is really comfortable when you have a wider frame like I do. And overall, in terms of comfort, I have not ridden a bike that is as comfortable as either one of these. Now, one thing that's a concern when you're heavy and you're riding an e-bike is when you combine speed with weight, slowing down can eat into a braking system. So these have slightly larger disc brakes right here for both bikes, which is going to help with that. Another thing that every Day 6 bike comes with is this back pouch right here, which is nice if you want to carry anything with it. And then it has all of your standard bike hookups. If you want to hold a water bottle, I put a phone mount right here, as well as another water bottle holder. And I put a little front pouch on mine as well, so that if I want to go somewhere that's far away, I can actually carry things with me. Now, you might be wondering, why in the world did Day 6 send out two of these bicycles for me to check out? And it's not just so I could have two different color options, but it's also because of the battery and the motor capacity right here. I'll show some footage of both batteries and motors up close, but essentially they both have a 750 watt motor. However, the difference is that the blue bike has a 48 volt battery and the red bike has a 52 volt battery. Now, why that makes a difference is because the higher voltage is going to allow you to have more capacity in the tank, not only for distance, but also when it comes to torque and pushing you up a hill. And that's one of the other reasons that these bikes are so good for big and tall people. The ergonomics are great for being both big and tall like myself. And then they also have the motor power and torque to help you get up hills. And that's one thing that I really want people to key in on, is that when you're going uphill, a lot of times traditional electric bikes, even if they're rated for heavier weight, cannot handle pulling a heavier person up a hill. So they'll have a very low weight capacity on the bike, whereas Day 6 bikes, I've been able to get these things to go really quick up a hill with my size. Another difference that you'll see between these two bikes specifically is that on the blue bike, there is a one rotor and one chain system, whereas on this red bike, you actually have a two chain system. And the reason that it does that is it allows you to have a better gear ratio for both torque and power. And let me tell you, this red bike is an absolute beast. Whenever it comes to going uphill or just going at a steady speed, this thing is ridiculous on what it can do. Now, I'm not going to dive too much further into the specs of the motors for these bikes. I did put a link down in the description below for you to check out if you want to learn more about their power capacity. But that's one of the really cool things that Day 6 did, is that they made sure that both bikes have enough capacity to get you where you need to go. Now, one really cool thing that these Day 6 bikes has is a walk mode. So if you hold the down arrow right here, at whatever speed you have it set at, it will then start walking at that speed. Now, with this more powerful motor, it's a little too fast to walk comfortably with. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So I hold it down, and it just starts going. And as you can see, I'm not pushing it, it's just going. Now, that is a little bit fast for the average person, I understand that, but the reason you would want a walk mode, let's say you get into a beach that is real fine sand, like a sugar sand, and it's hard to ride your bike through it, but it's also hard to push your bike through it. This walk mode will help you actually walk with it and get it through those tough situations like that, and that's a good use case for this. Or if you just can't ride the bike and you got a lot of low-hanging tree branches and things like that, it's just kind of the self-propelled motor that helps you get it through those tough scenarios. Now, the actual menu system of this bike is really nice. You navigate it by holding M right here, which I'll show in a second, but here it shows you your miles per hour. And if you press up on or down on these arrow pads, that's how much power is actually being output from your battery, which is really nice. It gives you all the information in real time, and you can even change what information is being displayed right here. Now, if we actually hold menu and go into it, then you can see that it has all of the information you would need to take a look at your bike, such as the voltage, the trip mode. It even has a startup theme where you can change it to dark or other types of themes. Like, it has everything you could need to know about this bike, and you can set it in kilometers per hour, miles per hour, whatever works best for you. But it's just a really nice, aesthetically pleasing menu that I was happy to see. Now, keep in mind, these are both the XL frames, but it's not the only frame size that Day 6 offers. So these are not exclusive to big and tall people. You can get them in several different frame sizes. That way, if you're just a big person that's not on the taller side, it can still be a great option for you. So let me know down in the comments below if this is a bike that you would consider. Every interaction I've had with Day 6 bikes has been fantastic. It is a smaller company that definitely is on the rise. I'm excited to see what they're going to come out with next, and I would love to hear your thoughts as well. Also, be sure to subscribe and join the Freaky Tall family. I do reviews like this for anything that's big and tall related, so I would definitely love to see you in future videos. But thank you so much for joining today. Again, I'm Corey with Freaky Tall Reviews. I'll see you next time.